Hi, I'm Garth Fielding. Last January I was playing at the NAMM show and walking around after my performance, and I saw a big booth that said FGN, and I said, what is FGN? And I walk in and I see some unbelievably beautiful instruments, and then I realized it's Fujigen, and I was very familiar with who Fujigen is. They're one of the top manufacturers based in Japan of guitars and basses since 1960. And I picked up a bass on the wall called the Mighty Jazz. I saw it, I said, man, that is a gorgeous instrument. And I said, it's probably not going to play as well as it looks. And I was completely wrong. And the closer I got to it, it looked better and better. Once I got it into my hands, I realized that it felt like it was growing out of my body as another arm. It had this great feeling to it. I have big hands, but I don't like super wide necks. And this just really, really, really fit my hands beautifully. One thing I was really taken with was that they had this great vintage vibe going on, but they brought in some of these modern elements that improve on the original design, like the hardware, the scale of the neck, the width of the neck, the fretwork, just a lot of details that were obviously very well thought out. The end result was a beautifully finished, highly crafted instrument that competes with basses in the $3,000 to $6,000 range, and this bass is a lot less money than that. These are handcrafted instruments. There are people paying attention to the final finishing process, and the fit and finish is really excellent. Just the paintwork alone was just fantastic. So taking a look a little closer at each part of the instrument, you can see they're using a very heavy cast bridge. This is a very important component when you're talking about the manufacture of a bass guitar, because that is really your anchor and your root. It gives you an area where the sustain happens, and in this particular bass with the FGN Mighty Jazz, you can either run it through the back of the bridge or you can run it through the body to give you lots of sustain. I'm a D'Addaria guy, and these are super longs because it's a 24 fret neck, and I discovered that our standard size didn't fit on there, so I'm using the super long XL on here, the nickels. They just sound fantastic. Also, going over to the pots, just beautiful, smooth moving pots. There's nothing more annoying to me than having junky pots, and sometimes you pick up $5,000 basses and you find that the pots and the electronics are just not all up to snuff. Really beautiful movement, craftsmanship, all the way to the pick guard. In this case, I picked my tortoiseshell for the vintage look on my Olympic white. And getting over to the electronics, this is a passive bass. And they took jazz bass style pickups, and what they did is they wound them to an early 70s style wind. There's not a tremendous amount of output to them, but they do give you a beautiful vintage tone that can be cranked through distortion, which I'll show you, or when I use my wah, or I use my octave box. It really speaks to all these beautiful different styles of bass playing. Getting over to the neck, the fretwork is phenomenal, just clean. I mean, I've picked up, again, a $5,000 bass that needed a fret job after you got it home because the outside of the frets were poking out of the neck because of humidity or changes in the wood structure. This is smooth and sweet and has a very special type of fretting system. This fretting system fans out across the neck. If you go to the FGN site, you can take a look at the fretting system. It really does make a difference to your hand positions. As I'm down in the low F in first position, my hand can be in a certain position and I'm just hitting the notes perfectly. The frets level out in the center and then they fan out again. These are not noticeable to the eye, but if you take a look at the website, you'll have an idea and you might know this type of fretting system. The neck's composed inside the neck. It's barely finished in the back. It's got this silky, gorgeous feel. The body is finished like a Lamborghini would be finished. Super coats, and obviously multiple sanding between coats. Just a beautiful, beautiful quality. I see no issues with the finish. There's this beautiful neck heel in the back that fits your hand, you know, like a glove. Excuse the pun, but yes, it fits beautifully down there. And then getting up to the headstock, the hardware, vintage style hardware that is built with some heft to match the bridge. The body's made of a really gorgeous choice of wood. I believe it's basically the basswood or ash, and it just feels phenomenal. The inlays in the neck, just a beautiful, beautiful sounding instrument. So for your basic tones, your basic open jazz tone, both pickups wide open. Big bell-like tone. Great for chordal work. Now if I was to turn off that back pickup, and what I have here is just the neck pickup, I got like a P-bass style. Now I'm adding my bridge back in. I got my tone rolled all the way down to give you the bassiest tone. If you have a delicate style technique, nice clear bell-like tone to it. Harmonics absolutely jump out of the instrument. Really just completely jump out of the instrument. So you have your open tone, you have your bassy tone, really traditional, beautiful, focused tone. This has more sustain than a standard jazz bass would have because of the beauty of this big honking bridge and this beautiful headstock and all the hardware in there. The guys at FGN really thought about how this bass was going to work and how players are going to use it and for what style of music they're going to use it for. These basses could be used for straight ahead jazz style music or could be used for nu metal because you've got every available tone at your fingertips. Big, big bottom.